Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Thanksgiving, so I decided I was going to talk about something Thanksgiving related. Football is very popular during this time of year. Football games take place on Thanksgiving, and during the Thanksgiving break and in the fall and autumn seasons, football is a popular pastime. Throwing around the football between father and son is a common activity done at Thanksgiving get-togethers, and football games happen typically during this time of year in the fall. So we're talking about football. Welcome back to Gaming History. The first ever football video game was in 1977 with Mattel Inc.'s Mattel Electronics Football. The game was a handheld LCD game with very basic graphics, being just red LCD lights that would light up and turn off, with a very annoying sounding sound effects going kind of like that. Now, this game was very, very popular and was built off of the popularity of their previous game, Mattel Auto Race, the first handheld video game. Mattel Electronic Football was simply just a bunch of LCD lights turning on and off. That's what their whole line was. The Mattel Electronics line was just LCD games. It was a very basic and simplistic version of football with two modes: easy, regular mode, and hard mode. The following year, 1978, they followed up with Football 2. The graphics and the sound effects were the exact same, and there were still only two modes, normal and hard mode. But there was some more functionality to it, a little bit more depth to what you could do in the game, as there were more buttons. Looking at the two, you could see that there were clearly more buttons, as a little bit more functionality to the red dots on the black background. But for the original version, it was a very simplified and dumbed down version of American football. Just so you know, we're talking about football here, American football. The one where you gotta grab it, you gotta throw it. That's just so we're not talking about the rest of the world calls football in the rest of the world is what we call soccer, okay? I just wanted to make that clear. I'm talking about American football. Now, in 1978, in October of 1978, Atari would release Football to arcades. This game was a full-on game, a true video game, and it featured vertical scrolling and pretty in-depth gameplay for the time. As the differentiator between the two teams they did was that one team was X's, one team was O's, so you could tell who was who. Now, this game was eventually re-released in March of 1979 onto the Atari 2600. Now, on the Atari 2600, there was another sports game that's pretty well known as Real Sports Football. It was part of the Real Sports series of games that were released, as it was part of a whole line by another company for the Atari 2600, which were as well sports, but in video game form. And the most iconic and well-known football franchise for gaming is Madden. Madden started in 1988 as John Madden Football, and beginning in 1990 was a yearly release, with the year being for the following year. So 1990 was 1991, 1996 was called Madden 97, the 97 game was called 98, and so on and so forth. Now, it was known as John Madden Football up until the release up until 1994 with the release of Madden NFL 99, where they shortened the name to just Madden NFL. Now, this is also where the Madden curse came from. The Madden curse began in 1999 with Madden 2000, as there was an alternate version of the cover, and this alternate version of the cover features a real-life football player on it. And ever since then, the Madden games have featured football players on them. Look at the last 10 years of the Madden games, they all feature football players. And every single time a person is featured on the Madden cover, they get injured shortly afterwards. This is why it's called the Madden curse. That player was injured, and just about every single person who ever appeared on the cover of a Madden game got injured not so long afterwards. Just saying. Football is dangerous. CTEs. Anyways, so that's all I gotta say about football games. They're just, football games. Well, folks, I guess that's all I gotta say, really. Bye, have a nice time. And for my American viewers, enjoy Thanksgiving. So, bye, have a nice time.